Yo, what's up? It's your boy BigDonSkillz bringing you another video today. Today we're going to be talking about a game I have been grinding a lot lately, and it is Ninjala. For everyone who doesn't know, Ninjala is a free-to-play game that's currently on the Switch. It just comes from a company called Gung Ho. They're kind of primarily known for their mobile games, and so this is kind of their big step towards the, I guess, non-mobile market. And a simple way to describe Ninjala is a game that you have the power of gum, actually. Chewing gum. It gives you powers of a ninja. The game is in a free-for-all, 8-player style. You can also do a team deathmatch mode that's unlocked at level 5. Ninjala is divided into a few modes. You have your casual style mode, which anybody can jump into, a quick play style, or you can do a rank mode that's unlocked at level 5. The gameplay structure is also pretty simple. The main objective is to get as many points as possible, and when you do that, you win the game. So your points are scored by defeating your enemies, by collecting energy on the ground, and by destroying drones that are across the map. These all will give you points towards your goal. And there's also a mechanic called Epon, which I may have misspelled or mispronounced. With Epons, whenever you get those, they're essentially a dramatic effect that results in the person literally flying all the way across the map. So it's really satisfying to get these Epons, and they also can give you bonuses towards the end of the game. So if you have the most Epons, or if you have the most drones, then you get bonuses as well. So it gives you incentives to kind of play in different styles. If you want to go for primarily, defeats, or if you want to go for that drone collecting style. You have 3 primary weapon types. You have your swords, you have your hammers, and you have your yo-yos. Each of these weapon types have 4 variants that can be adjusted for different play styles. Your sword is kind of the balanced, fast-paced, get in your face. Your hammer is the slow pace, CC, you can crush people's weapons. And then your yo-yo is your long range. Sometimes you can transform people with the yo-yo. So they all have their 3 distinctive styles, but they all do a lot of damage. So it's really interesting to see how the meta is going to evolve over these 3 different types, or if they add more in the future. One of the key mechanics in this game is the parry system. The game didn't do such a great job of explaining this, and I'll get into this later, but it's essentially a rock, paper, scissors variant that's determined how you attack the person. And you'll take turns going back and forth with these dramatic transportations and, instant transmission like moves until you can actually take advantage and get a full combo. It's a really cool feature that's going to be more interesting as the game gets fleshed out, because it's one of the most important mechanics of the whole game. Alright, story mode. Well, this game has story modes that are actually DLC, and right now there's episode 1. As of the recording of this video, I have not played episode 1, although I do plan on playing it. And they're going to release more episodes over time. So the story is very simple. It's even explained too through their official YouTube page. And I would actually recommend watching those if you want to get some background story. They're like animated shorts that have one of them has a very Pixar-like style to it. And it's actually really good animation. And they explain the background story of Ninjala. Like I said, the gum gives them the powers to become ninjas. And that was actually the powers of their past ancestors. And so there's a battle between different ninja clans, essentially. So not too much as far as the story. It's very simple and probably not the main point of you playing this game, but something to consider nevertheless. Now I want to talk about the things that I really like about this game. It's got a pretty nice list going on here. First of all, the soundtrack is pure fire. The soundtrack is really good. And if you're watching this video, more than likely the soundtrack is playing in the background. There is a lot of good tracks, and one of the coolest features in the game is that you can actually choose your favorite soundtrack, and it'll throw everybody's in the lobby into one essentially big playlist, and it'll play as the battle keeps going on. And so whenever your song comes on, it's like giving yourself a little, like a power boost, It's a really satisfying and really unique aspect of this game. Music is top notch for me. The game also has a lot of charm. As you've seen before, there's a lot of colors, there's a lot of variants, the graphics are really good. There's always that Splatoon comparison, even though it plays more like a Shinobi Strikers. For anyone who's played Naruto Shinobi Strikers, it's definitely the feel of this game. I mean, like I said, the charm is great. The character customization is great. Everybody's got personality. You can easily find something that fits your style. Even with the zany and goofy weapons, there's a lot of just artistic style that's put into this game. And that's probably one of the most exciting things every time I play it. I mentioned earlier how there wasn't much explained as far as the parry mechanic, but the game at the same time is very easy to get into. A lot of people have been asking me about it on my streams. A lot of friends have been getting into it. And even at the game being so new and at the lower level, I mean, anybody can win. If you don't want to fight, you can run away all you want and go for those drones, and you can get a lot of points just by taking out drones. So you can play different styles that cater towards you. And I think that's a really nice part of a game where you don't always have to be the one with the most kills to be effective towards a team. That's one of my favorite things. Another thing too is this game has an insane amount of potential as long as the development cycle is on point and they have steady updates. Right now, there's not a whole lot to do, but once again, if that's something that changes over the next couple of months, this game is going to be alive and well for a really long time, especially with the fact that it's free to play and you're not required to have Switch Online either. Another thing is whenever you're fighting the combat, there's a lot of weight to the moves. When you hit somebody, you feel that impact. There's a lot of just effects that are put into moves, and this is very important when you're playing a fighting game. You want to have that effect every time. You want to feel like you're hitting somebody when you hit somebody. Now to get into the downsides. As of now, this is probably the biggest issue, but there are a ton of disconnection issues. A lot of issues. A lot of times when I win games in ranked, it'll disconnect me on the win screen, and then it won't let me log into the game, and I have to force close the game and close out. Another thing with this game too is that if you hit the home button on your Switch, most games it doesn't really do anything, even if you're playing online. But the second you hit online, or the second you hit the home button on your Switch, it'll instantly disconnect you. So you have to be very careful with not accidentally hitting your home button, especially if you're playing on the mobile mode. The portable mode can be a little clunky sometimes. There's also a really weird lobby system. It's simple in concept where you have a code, or you can have it private. It's similar to Smash Brothers where you can have an ID and a code that you put in. However, when we were playing it the other day, there was a lot of issues with people trying to find the lobby and get into the lobby, even though it was set up and all the information was out there. There was a freeze for a while too with your controller. I think they fixed that already, so that's been good. That's a step towards the right direction. But yeah, as of now, the private lobby system is a little clunky, and then once you get it working, then it gets into gear. And I've also mentioned this one a couple of times too. Despite the fact that there's a tutorial mode and there's a nice training mode for the dojo, the game doesn't explain a lot of crucial mechanics. There's the Epon, the Ipon, the IP man, whatever you want to call it. But that mechanic isn't explained very well. The parry mechanic, which I think is the most important mechanic in the game, isn't explained well. Defense mechanics aren't explained all that well. Just a lot of things that are just kind of not explained. And if you really want to get into this game, I mean, you're gonna have to, collab with some friends or look up guides, because even the people making content right now aren't really sure what the mechanics truly are. There's a lot of guessing within what exactly happens with the interaction. So I would love to see the devs come up with at least a guide or article or something that further explains a lot of the mechanics that the game didn't go into. Another thing, as of now, there's only 2 maps and 2 modes. I mentioned this before. The devs are gonna have to definitely keep this game updated, because although both maps are actually really good, I really like the big city area. It's very big, but not the best for small games. Then you have the smaller map that's more chaotic, but at the same time, you can still play a little bit of strategy and go for your flanks. So they have 2 really good maps, and so they need to keep improving, keep adding more maps. And then last one, although the battle pass system is great, the standard, you know, $10 for a battle pass, there's not much variety in the challenges. They're a little bit of the same. They're kind of redundant, and they have the option to reset stuff if you have the battle pass, but at the same time, it's just not, I don't know, they're not fun and exciting challenges that, you know, encourage you to play differently. And now for my final verdict. Do I recommend this game? Man, I spent 11 minutes talking about this. Of course I recommend this game. It's free to play. It's super easy to get into. You can play with your friends. You don't need Switch Online. You just need a Wi-Fi connection. I mean, it's hard to not recommend a free-to-play game unless it's just a broken mess. At the very least, try it. And if you don't like it, I mean, uninstall it. It's really not that big of a deal. But that's all I got today for my review. I hope you all enjoyed this. It's a super fun game. I'm going to be playing more. Don't forget to check me out on my Twitch on twitch.tv/BigDonSkillz, which all the footage has been from my streams directly. So once again, I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all day. I'm going to definitely see y'all on the next one. If you want to see more from me, hit me up in the comments section. Check me out in the description below. Talk to y'all later, and deuces.
Wake up, you know that I'm coming for ya. Stakes up all night until the morning. I never miss a beat, I'll be running these streets. Got your heart racing so fast, give you anxiety. What? It's a game, baby, I'ma play tonight.